Hey everybody, this is number 6. This is my last video from the Giga Berlin factory tour, and I'm not going to show a lot of pictures or videos about the factory this time. What I'm doing is I'm going to summarize the 10 reasons that make Giga Berlin different from all other automotive factories in the world, including the factories from Tesla. So, because this is a little bit a special edition, if you like, a summary, a lot of people have been asking me, hey, what is the real difference? I mean, calm down, this is just a factory. Well, yes, it is just a factory, but it has a couple of, differences. So I've been finding very quickly 10 differences, and I'm adding 2 which are not that specific to Berlin. But let's get started. Number one is intralogistic. Sounds a little bit strange, that word, but what it means is if you produce in a factory, you have to, move stuff around within the factory. And that's different here. If you remember the first video, the entrance video, I showed all the skates with docking stations for the trucks. That is unprecedented. I mean, it's kind of every meter you have a docking station, which makes the distance from the trucks to the place where the material is used in the factory small, very small. I mean, it's the smallest I've ever seen. You have docking stations with other factories too, but not that many. I mean, this is just amazing. In addition, they can use the space to store material or semi-finished goods already in there, which is also really good. It's a buffer, and you always need buffer in a factory, because what most people don't know is a serial production, like a vehicle production, is never going without interruption. You always have stop and go, like in a traffic jam. So the production stops, the other part is going again. You need buffer in between to have material to continue, or to have space to store semi-finished goods that you just finished. So number 1 is intralogistics. Let's come to number 2. Number 2 is castings. We talked about that. I mean, here in Berlin, we have a front plus rear casting, and in a size no other automaker has, which is amazing. So 2 big casting pieces makes the entire assembly, the joining process, everything different. The characteristics of the vehicle while driving will be different. The characteristics while doing an accident and safety will be different. Everything is gonna be different. This car with its 2 castings is unique, the Model Y, and I hope very soon, or let's say in 2 years, we're gonna see a Model 3 with 2 castings as well. So number 2, castings. Let's go to number 3, productivity. What happened to my hair? Well, obviously I cut it, and it feels a little bit odd. It's actually cold, to be honest, and winter is still coming, so not sure if I keep it like that, but I hope you like it. So let's go back to Giga Berlin. Productivity. Productivity is nothing else than input through output, or output through input, however you want to call that. And it's a result, if you will, out of all the changes I described in my previous videos, as well as this one. Productivity is that what matters, because at the end of the day, the price and the costs are all determined by how fast you can produce a vehicle, how many, working hours machines, robots and humans are spending to finish a good car. And I believe, VW Volkswagen brand CEO Ralf Brandstätter expressed it very well when he lately said that, Model 3 is produced about 3 times faster than an ID.3 at their plant in Zwickau, which is a BV plant. So that's the MEB platform, obviously the new, amazing premium platform VW was promoting a long time ago. Now they just don't promote this anymore really very strongly. They talk about the next level, which is Trinity for VW, and Artemis for the VW Group. And the Trinity project is supposed to start in 25, 26, which is, 4 to 5 years from now. At that point in time, the market share will be gone. So good reason why VW is doing one crisis meeting after the other, and a good reason to look into what VW is really doing. And we know now that they also invited, Elon Musk for their management meeting in order to wake them up because they have a problem. If you look at the, quote from Ralph Brandstätter, you understand clearly what the status is right now. It's a cutthroat competition because based on the low productivity VW has, or let's say not competitive productivity compared with Tesla, they are not able to really make any decent profit on the vehicles. And without any profit, you are just toast. So this is a problem. That was productivity. Let's go to the next chapter and let's go to the previous status. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 is that what I call pack to seat to assembly, finished assembly, general assembly, whatever you want to call it. So that Tesla is, mounting the seats directly on the structural battery pack, and they lift both of it in the marriage in the car is unique. I've never seen something like that before because we have never seen a structural battery pack before like that. Could you do it with another battery pack? Yes, but you have to construct the vehicle, the body, in a different way, and you only can do that if you have the two castings in there. So, as you see, that makes a big difference. You have a different joining process, everything goes faster, you have less parts, big advantage in terms of productivity. That was number 4. Let's go to number 5. Number 5, I mentioned it before, structural battery pack. Nobody had that before, which is a, like a piece of the chassis that takes, the energy that the vehicle is trying to manage throughout your driving or standing. So structural battery pack means the battery pack is more than just used for using the batteries as a source of energy. The batteries, the structure of the batteries, the package, the entire piece is a part of it. And you have now only 3 pieces for the entire underbody, which is the rear casting, the front casting, and in the middle, the structural battery pack. Unique. Nobody has done that before, and this is the first time this is happening in Giga Berlin. So that was number 5, structural battery pack. Now we come to number 6. All of that pieces that I just mentioned help to improve the quality. So quality control and fixing issues later on should be reduced dramatically. Don't get me wrong. We have a lot of innovations here in Giga Berlin which haven't had before, and Tesla's taking a lot of risks. All of that is right. And by doing that, they're gonna have, their challenges and their issues by ramping up the factories. This is totally normal, and I wouldn't expect anything else. But once they've been going through that process and everything works, it's going to be amazing in terms of quality. I expect a much, much better quality than what we've even seen from Shanghai. And the Model Y from Shanghai received very good marks in terms of quality. Here in Germany, where a lot of people like myself are pretty nitpicking on this kind of panel gaps, paint issues, and all of that. So that was number 6. Now we come to number 7, which is another, number seven, which is another very important part, which is localization. When Tesla decided for Giga Berlin, as a location, they decided for a variety of reasons. One reason has been you have a lot of suppliers out there. A huge portion of the Model Y, Model 3, but even the S and X in terms of supplier base is already located in Germany. Parts are produced and systems are produced in Germany and shipped over to California or China in order to produce a vehicle. All of that is, solved now because you have the suppliers nearby. Don't get me wrong, certainly a few of the suppliers have production plants also in Asia and also in North America, but nevertheless, you solve a big issue by getting closer to your suppliers, which production facilities are mainly in Europe and in Germany, and by that you reduce the logistics transportation part. You are moving closer to the people you are working closely together with. And if you remember, Elon said correctly, if one single part is missing, and chips is only one of those, but there are a lot of other parts that can miss, in terms of timing and in terms of quality at the right time, at the right moment, at the right place in order to be, assembled into a vehicle. If only one piece is missing, you just can't finish the car. But now you're very close to your suppliers in terms of localization close, which helps a lot. So that's a big plus. So number 7 is localization. Let's go to number 8, which is hardware and software changes. Not many people understand that Tesla's production process is totally different from anybody else. And they are different because they are making changes on the fly. They are making so many changes every day, every week, every month in a vehicle that you can really say each car that is delivered is a unique car, because they change all the time and they don't inform us consumers, because why should they? The car looks from the outside the same, but it gets better. Why is that different? Well, all other legacy automakers are having this model policy. In other words, after a year, after 2 years, they have their model and they changes. They have a new release and they announce that release and they tell you what this car, has new, be it the interior, be it the, the specification, be it even a little bit how the car looks like. And they ask for more money by doing that. Tesla is adding features and functions all the time. And this is not only hardware, but it's also software, which makes it really, really interesting in terms of continuous improvement. You literally do not have cannibalization here, because why should you wait for buying a car, or why should you, wait for a later period in time for the next model, because there is no next model. Yes, you have design refreshes within Tesla from time to time too, but it's fair to say that each model is different. So that was number 8, which is hardware and software changes. I may write actually an article about that, because it's a really interesting topic not a lot of people are aware about. And these changes will increase, I believe, with Giga Berlin 2. Let's go to number 9, which is the organization. Another topic not a lot of people are aware about is that, sometimes people talk about there is not really a hierarchy within Tesla. Yes, you can reach out directly by email or whatever to Elon Musk. You should have a good reason, but that's just a normal situation. He's plugging people from the production line into management meetings, knowing that these people know more about what's going on down there on the floor than his managers, which is great. This is fantastic. You need to talk to these people, and I've been doing this quite often. I can tell you something. People working on the line understand things much, much better than you may know, and the management often doesn't, and they don't go to the production line. If they are forced, and that's sometimes happening, to work a few days at the production line, they still don't get it. So you need to involve these people. But what I'm trying to say about organization, different organization, is something else, which is small teams within Tesla deciding on their own what changes needs to be done. They don't wait. They are not asking for a budget. If you work on a line and you work in a team and the team is discussing how things could be done better, they come up with a nice conclusion and they think this is the right way to go. In every other automaker, they need to go to management. They have to have a management meeting trying to convince managers who have no bloody clue what's going on or what production technology is used down there. They need to convince them for this investment, and it could be a small investment which has a huge impact. Within Tesla, the teams decide on their own. I give you an example. Printers, metal printers. If you need a small part that can help you in whatever assembly process to get something done faster, if you have a printer there online, you just can make it happen. And I've seen teardowns from a Model 3 where printed parts have been in the car that hasn't been in the car before. And this happened because the team decided we need a printer. They bought a printer, they used a printer, and they developed a part that, they just involved in the process, and everything works better afterwards. Now it's an integrated part of the vehicle for the long run. They may do changes, but the point here is the team decides, the team takes the responsibilities because they know what they talk about. And that is critically important. Yes, they are going to inform the management about it at a certain point in time, but it's information and not asking for approval. So that's number 9, organization. Number 10 is another very important point where, Giga Berlin differentiates from all other automakers, which is environment. What we see here is a factory, and this was just confirmed again from Elon Musk at the, at the party, at the Giga Berlin party in Berlin, obviously on stage, that the factory will be supplied with 100% green energy, and they are going to produce their own energy, obviously, for the factory, but they are also, the energy they are getting is all going to be renewables. That's number 1. Show me factories that's doing that. Yes, there are a few out there, but it's rare. It's not a lot. Now, number 2, in terms of environment, is water supply and water usage. Everybody is crying out about the water. It's 1.4 million liter for 500,000 vehicles in phase 1. And if you compare that number to all other automakers, you will realize it's a small number. And here it comes. All the other automakers even not disclosing what kind of water consumption their battery production has. So if you look at an Audi, at a Porsche, at a VW, at a, you name it, BEV, and you take the consumption of the battery pack, while water consumption of the battery pack, in that number, the difference is going to be tremendous, because the 1.4 million liter Tesla is talking all the time about includes the entire battery production. And why don't they need a lot of water there in the battery production? Well, because it's a dry anode process. I mean, what you see here on these pictures, I mean, this black lines is the anode that is brought in a dry way on the surface and then rolled up into the battery, which is a unique process. So they do not need a lot of water. The process a little bit more complicated, but at the end of the day, it's interesting to understand that the consumption of Tesla is much, much lower than from incumbent automakers. In addition, Tesla is using dirt water, so they're cleaning dirt water to reuse it on site, which is amazing. And they also have made sure that there's a lot of places on the ground where the water, the rainwater, can go down in the ground so that you have a circle, because water usually it doesn't disappear. Just to compare the 1.4 million liters peak performance, this is just a rare peak situation that Tesla has already a signed contract for consumption. If you look at that and you understand that there's a coal factory, coal mining place not far away in Brandenburg too, they use 862 times the water Tesla is using, because they lower the groundwater level and they pump all the water into rivers which go into the sea and just they are away. And this is 862 times. And the same is actually true for a cement factory not nearby and a lot of other factories. Nobody talks about that. Everybody talks about water at Giga Berlin, and again, the average consumption per vehicle used is lower than that what you see with German automakers. So don't forget that when you hear the word water in connection with Giga Berlin. So these are the 10 points where I would say this is very specific to Giga Berlin, and no other automaker is really making this happen like that. And there are 2 other reasons, or 2 other points that I'd like to make here, which is number 11, which is people. I've been talking to the workers on the ground at the line in Giga Berlin. I can tell you these people are extremely motivated. And a lot of people, these are very much educated people from the industry. And obviously in Germany we have a lot of automotive industry, so for Tesla it's much more easy in Germany to get the right resources in-house, people with experience. And I know a lot of examples from people from Daimler, for instance, but also VW, who switched over to Giga Berlin, and this will continue. So you have a brain drain situation that, people from incumbent automakers in Germany, it's 100, 200 kilometers difference maybe where they need to work, which is not that big, and they have the opportunity really to make a difference for the future. So the pool of educated people from the automotive industry is just amazingly big, probably the biggest in the world. In terms of that, what Tesla and Elon Musk is looking for. And this brings me to number 12, which is the mission statement. I mean, all of these differences, technology, casting, production process leads to, kind of a 3 times faster production process already with the Model Y from Shanghai, and probably leads to a, 4 times faster or 5 times faster production process compared to VW ID.3 in Leipzig. But at the end of the day, what is even more important and why all of this is happening is because Tesla's mission really to help other automakers to shift into BEVs. And if you just seen the news lately, Elon showed up at the executive summit of VW, where the CEO Herbert Diess was really pounding on the heads of his executives in terms of, hey guys, we need to change, we need to take Tesla seriously, we need to be faster, we need to be more productive, we need to change almost everything in order to manage the competition that we have now here in Germany. And Elon was all of a sudden, he was a surprise guest there. So obviously discussion in between Herbert and Elon said, yes, I'm going to do that. And he even talked about why he believes Tesla is more productive than VW, which is amazing. And this shows that his main core interest is not to be the richest person in the world or, to boost the stock price from Tesla in order to be able to bring the humans to Mars and, build a city there. His main interest is really helping the world to reduce the CO2 emissions in our environment, because he calls this rightfully totally crazy experiment, what we are trying to do here or what we are doing or every day. And he's right with that. So the core DNA of Elon or Tesla in terms of making a change is about making a change for the better for the entire humanity on the world. And now look at VW, at BMW, at Daimler, at Porsche, Audi, you name it. Every automaker, in the world is doing what they are doing for profits, for the stock price, and for the livelihood. And that's fine. I have nothing against it. But let's not forget, this difference in terms of a mission statement creates a different atmosphere, and people go the extra mile to be hired by Tesla, and they go the extra mile to make products successful and different. And that's the core ingredients most people overlook when they talk about Tesla and when they talk about Elon Musk, while I would propose really to consider this as a mission statement other companies could take over too if they wanted to. That's been my last video. I hope you enjoyed this series. I stop here. Certainly I'm gonna show up again with different topics. We will see. I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day.